If you're watching this, stay till the very end. Because what this admiral discovered that day didn't just change how he saw one man, it changed how he saw honor, sacrifice, and what true strength really means. So before we begin, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because this is one story you won't forget. The rain poured down over the naval base that morning, the kind of cold drizzle that makes even soldiers shift uneasily in their boots. The ceremony was supposed to be simple, a few medals, a few words, a few handshakes. But when the admiral looked out at the gathered veterans, his eyes froze on one man sitting quietly at the back. A man in a worn jacket, sleeves rolled up, a little girl clinging to his side. That man was Ethan Cole, once a decorated Navy pilot, now a single dad just trying to make it through each day. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't even on the guest list. But when a friend had convinced him to come just to see old faces, Ethan had given in, hoping maybe his daughter, Lily, would get to see a glimpse of the world her father once belonged to. The admiral, a stern man with silver hair and eyes like polished steel, took the podium. His speech was about service, loyalty, and sacrifice. But then, midway through his address, he stopped. His gaze landed once again on Ethan. "You there," he said, motioning toward him. "Son, I don't think I've seen you around here before." "You served?" Ethan stood slowly. "Yes, sir." "What's your name?" "Ethan Cole, sir." Something flickered in the admiral's eyes. The crowd turned. "Cole," he repeated softly, as if testing the word against a memory. "What was your call sign, son?" The hall went quiet. Ethan's daughter squeezed his hand. He hesitated, just a beat. Then, almost reluctantly, he said, "Ghost 5, sir." The admiral's face went white. The microphone in his hand trembled slightly. He stepped back, stunned, like he'd seen a ghost in the flesh. "Ghost 5, he whispered. "You can't be, they told me Ghost 5 didn't make it." Ethan's jaw tightened. "I almost didn't, sir." The crowd began murmuring, people glancing at one another. The admiral motioned for Ethan to come forward. "You're telling me you're the same Ghost 5, the pilot from Operation Silent Storm?" Ethan nodded once. The admiral took a deep breath, voice heavy with disbelief and emotion. "Son, you saved my crew that night." A gasp spread through the room. Ethan looked down. "I was just doing my job, sir." The admiral shook his head. "No, you were doing the impossible. You flew back into enemy fire, your bird was already hit, and you still managed to draw the heat away from us. You bought us enough time to escape. We thought you went down." Ethan's eyes darkened at the memory. "I did. I woke up 3 days later in a field hospital. Half my squadron didn't make it. After that, I couldn't fly again. Lost everything, my career, my home. Then, my wife passed." He looked down at Lily, who was clutching his arm tightly. "So now it's just me and her." The admiral's throat tightened. The man who had once commanded fleets was suddenly speechless before a quiet father and his child. "You shouldn't have been forgotten," he finally said. "You should have been honored." Ethan gave a faint smile. "Sir, I didn't do it for the medals." But the admiral wasn't finished. He turned to the crowd and raised his voice. "This man right here, Ghost 5, saved 27 men that night. We lived because of him. And yet he came here today, not to ask for recognition, not to boast, but to show his little girl what service means." Lily looked up at her father, her eyes wide and shining. "Daddy, you're a hero?" Ethan knelt beside her, brushing her hair gently. "No, sweetheart. I'm just someone who did what needed to be done." The admiral stepped closer, his voice thick with emotion. "No, son. You're more than that." He reached into his pocket, pulled off his own medal, the highest honor he wore, and pinned it on Ethan's jacket. "You're what every soldier should strive to be." The crowd erupted in applause, not the polite kind given at ceremonies, but the kind that comes from deep respect and gratitude. Men and women stood to their feet, saluting. Some even cried. Ethan tried to speak, but his voice cracked. "Thank you, sir. But I already have everything I need. He turned to Lily, smiling faintly. Right here. The Admiral blinked hard, emotion glistening in his eyes. Ghost 5, he said softly, you didn't just survive the impossible, you became the reason others live better today. As the music played and the ceremony continued, Ethan stood quietly, holding Lily's hand. For the first time in years, he didn't feel invisible. He didn't feel broken. He just felt home. And when he walked out of that hall, sunlight breaking through the clouds, the Admiral stood watching him go, knowing that the true heroes of war are not the ones who wear the medals, but the ones who carry their scars in silence and still choose to live with kindness, humility, and love. So if you've made it this far, remember, sometimes the bravest people are the ones who don't need to be seen. Hit that like button, subscribe for more stories like this, and never forget to thank the quiet heroes walking among us every day.